welcome to this event. This is the promotion of Jeton Neziraj's new, actually not new play, but play Bordel Balkan, which Heartefact published with the Serbian translation. So this is the
let's say with Serbo-Croatian, Montenegrin, and Bosnian translation.
Yeah.
BCSM.
So yeah, I think introductions first are in order. My name is Aleksandra Lozanović. I will be here as kind of a moderator of this conversation. We have Biljana Srbljanović, also from Heartefact. I don't think she needs a very special introduction. Everybody knows who is Biljana. And our guest star today, Jeton Neziraj. He's a playwright from Prishtina, Kosovo. So I will make a little introduction to Jeton's work now, if that's okay with you two.
No, we can skip that maybe.
No, we cannot skip it. You know, people should know the magnitude of your career and your, career. It sounds stupid, but, you are very, very well known and successful playwright. So,
okay.
Brag about you.
Yeah. So, Jeton, you wrote over 20 plays, if I'm correct, which were staged in over 50 productions worldwide. And your plays are translated to over 15 other languages. You were artistic director of the National Theatre of Kosovo from 2008 to 2011.
Oh yes, I remember this.
Yeah. And now you manage and direct the Qendra Multimedia, which is a cultural organization based in Prishtina. And Qendra's main focus is contemporary literature and theater. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you worked with many other companies worldwide, including La Mama from New York company, National Theatre of Montenegro, which is connected to this play. We will talk about it later. National Theatre of Turkey, National Theatre of Kosovo, as we mentioned, Mass Theatre Festival in Sarajevo, and many others. And your plays are mainly focused and are talking about contemporary experience of Kosovo and exploring what it means to be a part of, for example, LGBT or Roma community member, not only in Kosovo, but also in region. And you mentioned the themes of systematic corruption and falling infrastructure in your plays, also as political, economical themes of Kosovo and region. So this was a short introduction. So our audience can have a bigger picture of who you are and what do you do. So do you want to say something for start?
For this introduction.
Well, I mean, it feels good to hear that. It was a bit long, but yes, I mean, I worked in some of the theaters, and yeah, I'm still active writing. People, often see productions plays being produced here and there, and they get the impression I write 10 plays a year, which is not the case. I usually get to write 2 plays. Maybe if I'm lucky enough, I start the 3rd one in the last months of the year, and then I finished in the next year. But yeah, people see production.
It's enormous.
I know, but it's
play every 3 years.
I know it has a reason. I mean, maybe that's another topic, but a couple of years ago, back in 2002 till 2006, maybe I had this real writer's block. So I was not able to write anything at all. No plays, no scripts for films or anything like that. So beside emails. And so I got this trauma that, I will, if this comes back, this writer's block, then it will be serious and I will not be able to write. So now I take more jobs than I can handle, sometimes, not always. So that's why I have this constant, so to say, need to be in touch with the text, with writing plays mostly.
Yeah. I have my experience is actually writing is about the form. If you are in good shape, and it's like training for the marathon. It's always hard to run when you made a long pause. But if you run at least a little bit every day or every 2 days, then it's much easier, and then it's very natural. So with writing, it's like that. It doesn't mean that I write every day or every 2 days. On the contrary. So that's why probably I couldn't ever complete the marathon. But I think it's, more you write, more ideas you get.
It's true. I mean, in fact, in every time I start a new play, it's really a painful process. So it takes some time until I really catch the rhythm and I start to really, for real, producing something that might be useful. But otherwise, if I don't go through this painful process of the beginning, then I would never be able to start. So I kind of force myself. I have some ideas, I have a topic, maybe I have more than what I would need for the beginning, but still the very beginning is quite stressful and painful.
Yeah. Can I jump in about the play, or Alex, you want to?
I just wanted to mention one thing, that Heartefact and Qendra are, this is not the first time we are cooperating with Jeton and Qendra. This promotion and a lot of other activities are part of a big project, Reconnection 2.0, which is done by Heartefact and Qendra. So I wanted to skip to the questions about the play, but Biljana, you can do what you, before that you can do what you wanted to.
No. You know why? Because this is the play and these are my notes, Don't worry, I will not use, not even half of them, but it's a wonderful play. Bordello Balkan. I mean, I'm very, very, very proud that we actually published, and then Shkelzen Maliqi translated the play. And at the beginning, it was a commission by Crnogorsko Narodno Pozorište under the direction of Janko, no?
Yes, it was Janko who commissioned back in 2014, and then the play was produced there in 2015. He had, Janko at that time started a program through which he was in every season, I think, producing one play by a neighboring country of Montenegro. So he had one from Albania, I think one from Serbia, and then this was the third one, or something like this. But I don't know if he finished this circle of producing one play, because he then he went out of the step out of the National Theatre. But yeah, it was commissioned by the Montenegro National Theatre, and yeah, the credit of for this play should go to Janko also, that he initiated.
Tell me, did he give you the subject or the form or the idea about Orestea, we say, right?
Orestea, yeah.
Orestea. No, not really. But what I have to mention that I was teaming with Stevan Bodroža, the director from Belgrade. So Janko knew both of us, and then somehow together, I and Stevan approached Janko. Actually, I had another idea that I proposed to him in the beginning. We both proposed to Janko. He was not very keen on that, and he suggested that we should offer something else maybe. And so I believe it was Stevan who proposed I should write or a new version of Orestea, the old the play that as we know, to kind of transform it into a nowadays. And for me, this was really a challenge. I had no idea how easy or hard it would be to kind of transform into a modernity the old structure and characters and everything. I don't know if it was, in the end, the play was written quite fast, for maybe 4 or 5 months altogether, which is, I think, very fast in terms of a volume of a play. I mean, this is the largest play I have ever written.
Yeah, it's a long play, but it's almost 90 pages like this. But it's so full of images, of pictures when you read it. I mean, I'm used to reading plays, of course. I mean, it's our job. And I always think when you publish a play, you think, who is going to read it, and do you need to have some kind of like knowledge before that about ancient Greek tragedy, about the characters, or just like this kind of, condition of reading of the play, of the script, let's say. But this is really so full of images and so clear. And at the same time, it's long, but you have many songs, and I would say poems. Actually, they are songs in the play. And then you say at the beginning, you say it should be like a turbo folk music, and you will tell us a little bit about it. But when you read it, just the text of it, it's very, very strong, and there are poems, and I can only imagine how well it worked with the music on the stage. So it's not that long, and actually you don't need to know that scholarly knowledge about Oresteia. It's a trilogy, and it's a story about like Agamemnon. Alex and me, we don't know all the names. How do you pronounce them in English? So he's like a commander, the king, the commander in the war, and he did many atrocities in the war and in Troya, and then in the Trojan War, and then at the same time he left at home his wife, and he was really horrible to his wife. And of course, she found a lover. And plus, he sacrificed the only child that was a real child to Clytemnestra, only because he wanted to go to the war. And, there is a Jan Faber. Did you see that one, Olymp, the performance, 24 hours long?
No, not really. I know it was last year in Bitev.
Yeah, it's one of the most moving moments of my life, really. But the part
I've listened to your interview and
really, you did. But this part when you have this Oresteia, it's basically you have her Clytemnestra who goes on the stage and who says, "You went to war, you raped, you did atrocities, you robbed money, you brought back a woman that you raped and that you insist now that she will live with us, and I have to accept it. And before all that, you sacrificed our daughter because you wanted to have a good luck in the war. If I had done it, you would butcher me in a split second. But because it was a man and it was a commander in chief or a king, everyone thinks, even nowadays, when you read ancient Greek, mythology and everything, oh, he was like a hero. So everything is here. You can read it like a Serbian soldiers coming back, Kosovo soldiers coming back, American soldiers coming back from Afghanistan or wherever. And then things that they find at home. And then this war-mongering machine who has to find a way to live in a civilian surroundings, but this surrounding is completely destroyed. And it's the stains of blood. It's everywhere. It's in a metaphysical sense, and here also in a literary sense. And then you have to make like a judicial process. Suddenly the country has to become like you have like a tribunal, and you have lawyers, and then you have prosecutors, and this transition from this war justice to like a regular civilian, it's a farce, you know. And when you read it here, it's so much, it's exactly happening here or in your country or in all of our, you know, devastated countries after the war. And at the same time, it's very emotional, it's very brave. You will tell us about the problems that you had. It's very, very, very brave. You talk about your, let's say, like Kosovo, you know, butchers also. But at the same time, it's very funny. You know, it's so, there is this dry humor, and we kept laughing while reading it. And it's not preaching, it's just like putting you in this situation so you can feel all of the emotions and you recognize the tragedy, but at the same time, you're like, my God, but this is funny, this is comical, you know. So I think it's really a wonderful play, and I really congratulate you on this, and I'm pretty much jealous, I must say.
Thank you. Well, I just wanted to say, I mean, going back to the writing process, because it was, I mean, we had that, I think, two main challenges. When we say we, I also include Stevan, who was also reading every draft of the play, every, you know, parts I was writing. But one challenge I remember was the red carpet, as we know from the original play of Aeschylus. That's, you know, Agamemnon comes back and then he steps intentionally into this, walks into this red carpet, and then, you know, this red carpet was reserved for gods. So he makes this sacrilege, so to say, and then he gets killed. That's what we get from the play. So we wanted to see what kind of symbol do we have nowadays that would represent this red carpet? Is it something that we could say, the red carpet of the antique is this symbol? No, and it was really hard. But what we found out when the play was written, that there is no need to find extra motives. I mean, what he has done to Clytemnestra, what he has done abroad while fighting in the war is, you know, more than enough for the Clytemnestra and Aegisthus to kill him. And then also the other challenge was how to transform those, I don't know the name of the characters in the original play, but they are some sort of
Eumenide, yes,
exactly who are running after
Dementors. It's like Dementors in Harry Potter, you know?
Exactly. So how to find some kind of you know, characters or something that would replace them. That was the challenge, and we reduced them into the role of the lawyer and the persecutor. So they are really two characters who are doing this dirty Balkan job in this cafeteria and raising all the you know, I don't know this language, this jurisdictional language. But anyway, they decide that his Aegisthus is, I mean, not the Pilatus, now I'm forgetting the names of the characters, the Orestes is free of any charge.
Yes.
So those were some of the challenges, and I have to say that the writing process, of course, it required work as every other play, but having the structure of the other play, following it a bit, made the process easier. So I knew where I'm going in the, you know, first act. I also followed the structural logic of the Oresteia. So I have also 3 acts. The first act is when Agamemnon is coming back and then he gets killed. Second is when Oreste and Pilatus are coming back. So they were abroad. They live now they used to live in Berlin, and now they come back to kind of see what is happening after the war. And the third act is this, you know, Orestes being hunted by those. In Albanian we call them Erinid. I don't know what
I think Furies. I think it's
Furies. Yeah, it's Furies.
Yeah.
That's true. you. So
Alex, I will not monopolize. I promise. But you know, the third, you are right now talking about the third act, which is like, you know, this judicial process. And then we are fans of this TV series Big Little Lies, you know, that is also kind of like formulated following the form of the third part of the Orestea. You know, when you have like monologues, multiple monologues, like Rashomon, you know, you see like from the different angles what happened and nobody is guilty. And then here, everyone manages, including like the singer, the cleaning lady, and everyone manages to find a distance. You know, I will read the quotation in Serbian because it's beautifully translated and I don't want to butcher it. But, you know, for example, the singer says, when she has to say something, what she saw. And she said, pevala sam, istina je, ali kad pevam ja zatvaram oči, tako da nemam pojma što se desilo. That goes for all the artists. You know, we don't know anything, we just do art. And then cleaning lady, everyone else, no one is guilty except warrior number one, who is honest and who doesn't understand that you now have to pretend to have a system. You know, you cannot have like a war machine anymore. And he says, ratnik prvi, jebaću vam majku, ubiću vas ako me opet pitate. Kakvi jebeni istražitelji, boli me kura za sve. Znate li vi ko sam ja? Pitaj mamu svoju gdje sam bio one večeri. Gubi se jebati majku istražiteljsku, zapalit ću te sa kućom i sa svim što imaš. Gubi se pederu. You know, so he's the only one honest because it's the law and everyone else pretends that no, now we have like prosecution and you know, a judge and a legal system and everyone washes their hands except this guy who is a monster, but he's at least honest.
Yeah, he keeps believing he's still, you know, I mean, of course we have many characters like that nowadays who still believe they have the power to kind of do whatever they want. But I have another story, and I think we'll speak because I was thinking you will speak of another soldier who is telling this story how they were killing children and women in the war.
Tell us about it.
No, I mean that's related to the production in Pristina when we started producing it. Some of the actors were saying, well, maybe, you know, this monologue should not be in the performance because it's very, you know, morbid. The soldier is explaining how they were killing children and making fun of children and killing them. I don't know if you remember that part.
Yes, absolutely. Can I just read a small part of it for the people so they will understand? So they're talking about how was it, you know, did you kill? Yes. Women also, yes. Children, yes, but not too much. And then he says, I meni se sviđa pozorište. Jedno sam gledao neku predstavu u glavnom gradu. Kada sam to ispričao komandantu, dobio je ideju da mu napravim pozorište na frontu. Treba da budemo civilizovani pred svetom. Skupio sam neku decu iz tog mesta i sa njima napravio zabavnu predstavu na našem jeziku. Na kraju, kada se predstava završila, decu smo naravno streljali. Ali je predstava bila jako zabavna. Bila je jedna scena u kojoj su se svi do suza smejali, ceo bataljon. Jedan od dečaka je slačio pantalone, izvadio je pišu i rekao, rat je govno. Ali je to izgovorio slatko na našem jeziku. Bila je to sjajna predstava.
So this was the part in which, you know, some of the actors were suggesting maybe it's too morbid because, you know, it's about killing kids and women. And one actor was insisting that, no, this should remain. I mean, this important monologue. And I felt like surprised that he's insisting, of course, proud. And it happened that actor actually left the production after a while when he realized that, you know, now he's Kosovo, Albanian soldier, so he's Agamemnon is not some Serbian commanders, but he's Albanian. So he left the production. But it is interesting that because I'm sure we'll go back to that, but for the production in Montenegro, when they started rehearsing, I think one or two actors were like hesitating a bit because they were saying, this is a good play, but it should be staged in Kosovo, in Serbia. This has nothing to do with us in Montenegro. So it's your business. I mean, you have to deal with the war and war consequences. Of course, Montenegrins as we discussed, they only throw some bombs in Dubrovnik, but not much. Anyway, the play there was staged, and Stevan had a very interesting concept for that very first production. So basically 3 acts were staged differently, also stylistically and also in terms of the genre. Do you say
Yes,
genre in English? And yeah, the play was there. Big production, I would say, technically, and it required lots of people because he also involved stage technicians, and the scenography was quite huge. So yeah, it was very big production. Well, the one that Andras Urban directed in Pristina was smaller in terms of the cast. I think 11 actors, not very complicated stage, and the production itself became attractive after the several incidents that happened, especially the one related to the Society of the War Veterans of Kosovo.
Tell us about it a little bit.
I will. But in the beginning, as I said, so 2 actors left. One was this one who was not like understanding how we can do a Kosovo Agamemnon. You know, he was saying that Agamemnons are in Serbia, so we didn't go to fight there. They came to fight. I mean, this the whole, as we know, whole discourse that we find here and there. And the second actor left because he was not happy with some solutions that Andras was proposing, mostly in religious terms. So when he understood that Clytemnestra, when Agamemnon returns, Clytemnestra will be wearing burqa, so she will be in burqa, and then he was not happy with this kind of things for religious purposes, so he left the production. So this is when, you know, problems started to occur in the process, and the main one then started. The main problem happened when a day before the premiere, when in the theater a group of war veterans entered. I think 10 of them. I was there in the theater, and obviously the director didn't want to confront them, and he didn't want to meet them. So somebody came to, I was in the buffet, he came to tell me that, you know, there is this group there, so they want, you know, to have some information about the production. And I was a little bit more naive then. I said, sure, I'm here, so why not? You know, happy to have guests, so let me go there. I went there, and they all stood up, you know, because that's a tradition. So when the you know, the person from the house is there, then you, as a guest, you have to greet him. So I said, no, sit, please. And what's the problem? They said, look, we hear that this production is happening tomorrow. We have information that it is anti-national play, and that is offending our war values. So we advise that you don't show the premiere next day. I said, well, you know, you should wait and see the play and then come to those kind of conclusions. I mean, this is long dialogue. I even tried to record it at that time, but by accident, then after 3-4 minutes, I pressed stop in my pocket in the telephone. But I have some nice dialogue going on in that room. And so they wanted the script. I said, look, I'm usually happy when somebody wants to read my plays, you know, but in this case, no, because your intention is not to really get informed, but you came with, you know, intentions to stop the process and to prevent us doing what we are doing. It was, you know, back and forth dialogue, showing muscles, and, you know, one of them was even saying, look, you know that we blocked the parliament a couple of days ago. And then I was stupid enough to say, you can block the parliament, but not a theater play. And so they stood up, they said, look, we have the script, we analyzed it, and you better don't show up tomorrow for the play. We will come, we will stop it. So you can call the police, whatever you want, but nobody will prevent us. On the way out, they made death threats, and, you know, if you dare to do this. But I have to say that actors and everybody was really very supportive in the team. So they were all wanting this premiere to happen, no matter that, you know, of the consequences, because in any way, those who would have been confronted with them would be the actors on stage. I mean, myself, I was doing the subtitles, but you know, the actors would be the one to be confronted. But actors were very, very supportive and fighting for the premiere to happen. So the premiere was, it happened next day, but it became big in media somehow, because I went to the police station to report the incident, and they were stupid enough to send a press release just immediately saying that we visited National Theatre, we required from the author the script, and he didn't want to give us the script, and this is a sign that the play is, you know, is not okay, something like this. So we are letting the audience know that there will be no premiere tomorrow. And then I wrote a short text back to medias, because after I went from the police station, they immediately started to call me, and you know, I had the information that they are informed, media. So I wrote this short text inviting the audience. We should invite you. I mean, you should come. It's not about a theater play, but it's about our freedom. So if we let them stop this premiere tomorrow, then next day they will want more. They will stop something else. So let's fight for the freedom, because freedom on stage represents the freedom in reality, and so on and so on. So people came full. I mean, it was mostly men, of course. They were not bringing women along, but mostly men who were ready that, you know, things might go wrong. But the thing is that next day, because of those reactions in medias, and lots of people, intellectuals and journalists and friends were commenting, and in social medias, because it was stupid for them to come and do this gesture, and, you know, wanting to stop a theater play. So then they stepped back. Next day, they kind of wanted to find an agreement. So I found myself next morning sitting in a little press conference with one of them as we reached an agreement. So it was paradoxical and absurd situation, but I was there saying, we are happy to let you know that we reached an agreement, that the premiere will happen. And they were saying that we misunderstood each other. No matter if you have critics, we'll come and we'll watch the plays in a civilized manner. So the audience came, and I remember that evening in stairs of the National Theatre, a young boy, a local Serb, I think he's a journalist, or I don't know, he was talking to me in Serbian. Hey, Jeton, I'm glad to, you know, I came, like he wanted to show that he's there, and I came to support you. I said, good, but just don't speak in Serbian. It's enough, you are here. That's enough. Happy after the premiere. I mean, joking, but yeah, it was like that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But he was like enthusiastic in Serbian. Yeah, vidiš, tu sam, došao sam da te podržavam. Good, very good. It's enough. And it happened that also Janko came to watch the play, because in that time Janko became the Minister of Culture. So that was his first visit as a Minister of Culture in Kosovo. And then when all this complications started, Janko was saying, look, I would like to come, but now the protocol of the Minister of Culture of Kosovo is telling me we should not go, because it's, you know, it might be complicated. But he decided to come, and he came, of course, with the Minister of Culture of Kosovo. And I have to say that at that time, Ministry of Culture was very supportive. They issued a press release, you know, very, you know, kind of nicely written, saying that we should, you know, respect the artistic freedom, and nobody should you know, interfere somehow in the works of National Theatre and so on. And so that was also a good sign, which I remember somebody was comparing in another text in this Novosti, I think in Zagreb, in Croatia, was writing about Frljić, who had similar
in Rijeka.
problem in Rijeka, exactly. In Rijeka, but the difference, this guy was writing that in the Ministry of Culture there was writing that, you know, the artists should also take care of the feelings of different groups and kind of something like this. While the press release from in Kosovo from the Ministry of Culture was kind of with no how you call this? There was no doubts. They were straightforward.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. That's good.
So this is, you know, it was long story, but I try to.
No, I can imagine. Were you afraid?
Look, yes and no. I mean, day before the premiere, in the general rehearsal, we decided to record the show because we thought, you know, this might be the last show, so let's at least record it. But next day, I was doing the subtitles in English. Yes, I was afraid, but I was actually with one hand keeping the subtitles and then having an eye in the audience, just waiting who might, you know, stand up to make any problems. But there were no incidents. It was then also funny that a week after the premiere, the Society of the War Veterans, they also published a critique, a review for the play. I have to say, well written. So it was not some stupid. No. I mean, they, of course, in ideological review, but at least well written. You know, they were analyzing the original play of Aeschylus and commenting that, you know, the Troya, we were the Troya and we didn't go to conquer other Troyas, and Agamemnon saw in Belgrade.
Our play, it's, you know, it's not really, it's, you know, you just criticize this war machine, you know, and then the war-mongering atmosphere back home, and then, you know, how is it distractful for you back home, and then you have some moments here. I was thinking about Milosevic, for example, when you say there is a literal moment where he said he keeps a speech and he says and then you have like this several times you have this portrait of Agamemnon with a tiger, and then baby tiger like Arkan, and then he's insisting that Orestes takes the baby tiger, and he cannot, because the moment when he takes it, it's the moment when he becomes the same thing. And then this is the play. It's not that literally you say, okay, you know, Kosovo army went to the foreign country to do atrocities. It's the war.
It's true. I mean, it's true. But then there are also parts that are somehow more or less directed to the Kosovo context, like the one I had another. Actually, this monologue of the intellectuals.
Yes.
I mean, the pacifists, the one that are in here. People were relating them to the Rugovists. I mean, to those from the Liga Democratica of Kosovo. So this text was different for the production in Montenegro. It was more of an abstract poetical text of Aegisthus writing a poem. In here, I decided with Andras that it should be more, you know, political text, monologue, and so in people here, of course, related that to the Kosovo context, and couple of other parts were enough for some people to think that this is, you know, it's related to us. Agamemnon is you know, Ucheka commander, and so on and so forth. And I think that's the good one good thing of the play, that it fits in all those contexts of the war. I mean, basically, Agamemnon in every production should be the one of the host production. If the theater in Zagreb is producing it, Agamemnon should be a Croat, let's say. So that's a principle. I mean, otherwise, it would have not made sense to have a Serbian Agamemnon. I mean, that would be the easiest one to have somebody.
Absolutely.
But for me, it was important, and of course for Andras. And that was the other challenge, because now people who were criticizing the production were not saying that Andras is a Hungarian director from Vojvodina, but a Serb director.
Big Serb.
So he became Serb because that was serving their argument that it's now Serbs coming to direct with local traitors and to show that we committed crimes also. And so this is how this the whole machinery of war propaganda keeps continuing 20 years after the war in the whole areas of ex-Yugoslavia. I mean, for me that was also interesting as we discussed when the production was in Montenegro, that they didn't want to relate to the war. This is nothing to do with us, and that's for me the question. This has nothing to do with us, and in fact it has to do with us and with all who were involved in the wars of 90s.
Not only that, but in Germany, like everywhere in Europe, you have at least one living generation that witnessed one of the wars. Doesn't matter which one, and it could be also like the wars by the proxy. You have like half of Europe, being involved in this way or another, in like Syrian war, or not directly, but sometimes directly also. So it's
well, you have it in the USA as well. I mean, those generals who are involved in Afghanistani wars. I mean, they come and they get full respect in the at least in the higher politics. Maybe not among the people, but so this is there are different Agamemnons, but they are some sort of Agamemnons.
Absolutely.
And we are looking forward to the third production that should happen next year hopefully, in New York. So we are trying to do it with the La Mama there.
That's
next year. So that's
maybe we will try. Maybe we will try to do it here also.
I just wanted to ask, Jeton, can you imagine this play being staged in maybe not in Belgrade, but somewhere in Serbia?
Of course. I mean, that's my hope and my wish. And it's interesting because I think Biljana asked me in the beginning, when you wrote it, what did you imagine? Which places? Which it's mixture. I have to say. I mean, the motel itself, where the main events are happening, is located somewhere between Kačanik and Ferizaj, Uroševac in Serbian. So it's a place, motel I used to go sometimes in 90s. A restaurant with cafeteria with some a singer there. So that's the image. The place is there, while the characters, let's say you also recognize the Arkan and then parts from the speech. So it's really Balkan. That's why I also called it the subtitle is Saga of a Balkan family.
It's not even that, but you have, for example, Agamemnon promised to Electra that he will bring her, and Orest also, he will bring her back the ice cream from the war. And it sounds a little bit silly at the beginning, but then there is a moment, because they repeat it, and then there is a moment when he said, I will bring you hladnjača, how do you say it? Like
freezer.
And we know hladnjače zašto su korišćene. So I promised you I will bring you back full hladnjača. And we did, only recently, not even two weeks ago, they found another mass grave with another hladnjača there, and it was like no one really paid attention anymore. No one really, it's like, okay, 16 bodies were exhumated, and it's 2020, and it's just like, okay, but let's forget about it. So I think even if it was staged here, you don't have to change anything, and it becomes very, I can imagine veterans of the Serbian war coming to protest as an anti-Serbian play, because it's like, ethically speaking, it's the truth, it's universal, it's a beautiful play, it's very funny. I don't want to take all the time. It's funny, it's moving, it's like you know, you see all the images, and it's quick and it's dramatic. It's beautiful play.
Yeah, I mean, in here also the staging was very well done by Andres, so it was very good production, and the songs by Irena were absolutely excellent. I mean, the fact that Andres came to direct here, and then it was fresh for the audience, and then all those incidents somehow helped the play to remain in the repertory for like 2 years, and it was really really full, mostly young people. So they had, I don't know how many shows, but it was for 2 years always full. And then it also went to mess in Sarajevo with huge difficulties, because when, you know, a play of National Theatre has to travel, it is like, you know, having a convoy. I don't know how you call this, old machines, having to travel from, so it was like the whole machine, as you know, it was complicated process, but it went to mess. And also this small festival that is held in Milan, in Piccolo, wanted to have it, but then, you know, it was nobody to really deal with them and to exchange mails and send, I don't know, technical writer and this and that. And this is a work that somebody should do it. And in there, you know, you can easily lose nerves, and just because they know the structure of producing it and showing it there. And beside that, things might get complicated. So the play had its life in there. It was, you know, watched. The audience reactions were always, I would say, 60% commenting positively, feeling that, we have a sense of freedom. Thanks. Finally, somebody is able to point the things that were circulating in our heads for so many years after the war, while also comments like, I felt offended, and I cannot believe like somebody would write a play like this in Kosovo, a local person, and things like this. So the opinion of the audience was divided by, I would say, 60 to 40, or even maybe less than 40. So the positive comments were, yeah, more visible, I would say. But yeah, people felt the need to comment. That was for me interesting. So they felt because the debate started after this incident, and every time there was a show, then people would comment like pro and contra. I watched, I liked it, I didn't like it, I felt offended, I didn't feel offended. I didn't feel, people were saying I didn't feel offended because I was, you know, I didn't win any tenders in the government, or I didn't kill anybody, so I'm okay. And so that was for me important part of the production, this the social and political debate that was generated after the play.
Alex, we stall all the time. You can wrap it up, you know.
I do. Yeah, I had a lot of questions I wanted to ask, but you answered like 90% of them already. I just have to say, anybody who shares this live event on Facebook will get a copy of the play from Heartefact. So please share. I know some people already shared, so they will be contacted by us, so they can get their copy. Yeton, you wanted to say something?
No, we just wanted to say, do we have to conclude that this was okay discussion before asking people to share?
No, I have to say now, maybe because they will maybe share it now. So maybe there will be more people sharing. But yeah, you answered a lot of questions. I wanted to talk a little about the female characters in the play, because and the side characters, but you already mentioned a part of them.
No, just maybe to add that you know, it's been now nearly 5 years that I wrote this play, and I had to really go back and think of the characters, and I'll find out there is a Piladi in the play as well. But women are, you know, basically in the whole play, as they were in the reality, victims of the war, but also victims of this patriarchalism of 90s. I mean, this is the period in which the play was happening. And, you know, Clytemnestra was abused, as we discussed, by Agamemnon physically and sexually. Electra, in the other hand, you know, is abused or was abused by both Clytemnestra, but then Aegisthus, in the other hand, is manipulating and abusing with Clytemnestra. So that is the position. I really try to kind of capture the real feel of that period, which is not that much different from nowadays. So this sense of primitivism and patriarchalism is still dominating our lives.
But I must say that your characters, female characters, are very, very strong, you know, and they fight back, you know. So when you have like Clytemnestra, she's, you know, she's using the lover and she's proud to be, you know, the killer. And then you know, Electra also, in the moment when she said, okay, I was my daddy's daughter, actually. And then he taught me how to shoot. And at the moment when I did my first shot, I was peeing myself, not because I was afraid, but because I was thrilled to be my father's daughter and then to continue to fight. And she is a victim because he made her this kind of a monster, but at the same time, you know, she doesn't want to play victim. She's strong. She fights back, and even the cleaning lady, she fights back.
Exactly.
You know, right, Alex? I'm sorry.
No, thank you. But I mean, for me, this period of 90s was a period in which people who had power, they were using that power. So nobody was really sparing the power by not using it. So everybody who had some power in his hands, no matter male or female, he was or she was using it to, you know, anyone.
Yes.
And I can see, or maybe this is my impression, that the side characters or the men in the motel, there are some. They're kind of having a reasonable voice from time to time. They are aware of the real situation happening in the motel and the real relations between all those people. They're not blinded, like maybe the warriors from the military.
That's very good point, because I forgot that in fact those people are representing the role of the chorus that we have in the play of. So they basically are the voice of the reason. So they comment. They are not stupid. They know what is happening, and that's their position, as we have in reality. I mean, people in kafanas, you know, ordinary people, they actually, yeah.
You know, we were, you know, we found it funny. We were laughing just before that, Alex and me. There is a moment when Agamemnon, when Clytemnestra pretends, okay, she accepts Cassandra and everything, and Agamemnon said, lepo si to rekla, nije ratni trope, to je naprotiv, ona je dokaz naše humanosti, to što su doveli.
Da.
Hodi, devojko, dođi vamo, hajde, padni na kolena pred ovom gospođom Clytemnestrom, možda ćeš joj smešati srce i navesti je da se ljudski ophodi prema tebi. Muškarac jedan tihim glasom. Zar je postao toliki magarac da više ne razume cinizam svoje žene? Doveo si drugu, budalo.
Da.
And we can slowly wrap it up, but I just wanted to mention the thing that Orestes, in your version of this play, is actually gay, and he's doing drag, or he's some kind of cross-dresser. And Pilatus is his boyfriend, and they come, as you mentioned, from Berlin to back to the place. And I found the role of Pilatus very interesting because, if I'm correct, he represents some Western influence on the Balkan region.
Yeah, I mean, those experts were like everywhere in the post-war, in that period, especially in Kosovo. So there was some sort of workshopization of the life in Kosovo. Everybody was coming, especially from the UK, to do trainings on drama and education and this and that. And So yes, I mean he's somebody I know. I mean Piladis is a real a character, and I remember Stevan was saying, if it happens that I see myself in one of your future plays, I will kill you. So yes, I mean in terms of Orestes, the fact that he's, you know, it was also serving me in dramaturgical function, because I needed him to be somebody that they would not recognize
Yes.
when he returns.
Yeah,
So that was fitting it very well, that he's not just gay, but, you know, dressed and is.
Because if I might say, he is not, you know, trans, because he keeps referring to himself in masculine form.
Yeah.
Even when the others say gospođo, I don't know in Albanian, do you grammatically, do you see the difference? Is it like in English that you don't see the difference if you don't say she, he? Or, znaš kako, kad mi kažemo ja sam radila ili ja sam radio?
We have it. Okay. We have it.
Because here he keeps saying ja sam radio, the others keep saying madam, vi ste radila. That's why I think, okay, he has to
pretend.
Yes, he has to pretend, he has to wear something like, you know, to hide himself. And at the same time, you know, he doesn't have his own identity at all. There is one daughter that was sacrificed, and it was like a shushu of the mother. There is another that was much more masculine, Electra, that was a shushu of the father. And he was supposed to be his father's son, but he was never that, because he was always a disappointment for his father.
Exactly.
And that's why he's like ambivalent. Is he a man or a woman? What is so that's
exactly.
Why. Sorry, this is
no, that's
in front of you.
Good comment, but yeah, I mean he was. I mean, of course, I had to research and to find out what. You know, if he's coming from Berlin, and this was really I mean, what we see, the way this little scene in which they are observing the roads and the factories, this is like really a picture I remember from the post-war period of, you know, of roads being totally destroyed, and you know, houses burnt, and then animals in the streets. So those are pictures I kind of that got frozen in my memory from that period. So there is, I mean, I don't say it's based on real events, but of course, as every creation that we do, it has lots of images that are taken from the reality.
Yes,
including this motel, as I explained.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, while reading it, everything looks very familiar. All the places, all the characters, they look and feel like something from real life. I think everybody from the Balkans reading it can make an example. Yeah.
And at the beginning of the play, you have this, like, you know, how did it all start? Muškarac 2. Otkud znaš? Muškarac 1. Pa kako ne bih znao? Muškarac 2. Zato što nikad nisi bio tamo. Muškarac 1. Pa šta? Muškarac 2. Pa eto, nikada nisi bio tamo, to znači da ne možeš znati kako je počelo. Muškarac 1. Ti me bre izluđuješ. Jedno smo već rekli i odlučili, ovako je počelo i tačka. This is that, you know, even if it's not really real, it's that. Even if you were not really there at that moment, you recognize it and you just make it in your head, your version of it. Okay.
We are at the very end of our today's event. So any last thoughts, any last words about the play, about the relations between our two societies, about the exchange in arts, whatever do you want to share with our audience?
I mean, we could, but maybe it's better we leave it for the second edition of our discussion with Biljana, and then I'll take the role of interviewing Biljana, and then we can. But I think, of course, when I write the play, I don't think of other aspects. I mean, but they appear there after the play is finished. Of course, there are some, as we call it, ethical borders that you as a playwright, of course, you should know, like in relation to the human rights, in relation to, I don't know, gender, in relation to this and that. So you can be an asshole and pass that border and be, so to say, politically incorrect and say, I don't care, I want to execute my power as a writer, as artistic freedom. But what's the point? So
Yes.
I don't think of those terms, but they are, they belong to a writer in itself.
Absolutely. I agree. Nothing to add. I rest my case.
Okay. So if
no, technically, maybe just to say that I'm really happy. I mean, this should have been in the beginning, that the play has been translated. In fact, it was Shkelzen Maliqi who translated when the play was staged in Montenegro, and then Bashkim did the translation of the updates and editing of it. So I'm happy the Heartefact published it, and I'm really looking forward to see a possible production there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, thank you, Jeton. Thank you, Biljana.
Thank you.
Thank to all the audience watching us. As I said, anybody who shared this live event will get a copy of the book, but you can contact us through our Facebook page if you want to have a copy of your own, even though if you didn't share it. So yeah.
They can share the video.
They can share the video. This was, as Jeton said, the first time Biljana and him are talking, but I suppose in near future we will have another events like this.
The first time in this iteration,
Thank you, Biljana, for reading it and for nice comments. Thank you, Alexandra. And Andre, who is, I suppose he's there.
Here, not to worry, overlooking everything.
Okay, of course.
Thank you so much. See you. We hope to see you very soon when it's all over here.
Yeah, hopefully soon. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay safe. Bye.